What's up, guys? I'm going to give you guys the update one on session one. So, the campaign's name is the Shadow of the Veiled Peaks. We're set on an island called Azur, and the island's been dealing with some gnarly disasters lately. So, the council of the island has sent out flyers to neighboring countries for adventurers to come and help them with this crisis. So the party gets together on this boat and heads to Azur. As they're on this boat, we have a human fighter, we have a Goliath barbarian, and then we also have a wood elf ranger. So these guys are just having fun, causing a little bit of mayhem on the boat, joking around because the Goliath is so big that every time a wave hits, the boat almost falls over, just stuff like that. As they pull into Port Azur, they are messing around. They get off the boat. They are met with this line leading up to this big old desk with a merchant sitting behind it, accepting everybody's papers, making sure that they're there for the job, for the adventuring job that was given out by the council. So as they're there giving the papers, the wood elf tries to sneak past the desk. He rolls low, gets caught, has to get sent back into line, and then they get all their papers done. As they're standing there, the merchant's like, "Hey man, it looks like you guys are a party. We actually have two jobs that's been posted very recently. We have one that from a wealthy merchant, it pays pretty well. He was on his way to Port Azur, and on his way there he was attacked, and while he was attacked, his carriage just disappeared in the fog, just out of nowhere, just gone." And then we have quest 2, which was a druid who came from a place near Oakhaven, talking about how Oakhaven is being affected by a blight that has recently affected the forest in the Silent Glade. So the party ends up picking the quest for the druid. So as they're going through town, they stop at the tavern, talk to the barkeep, and then as they're talking to the barkeep, the wood elf suggests that they should hire a healer, since it's only a ranger and two meleeers. So they talk to the barkeep. Barkeep tells them to go right up to the Adventurers Guild. They should be able to hire one. So they bounce up to the Adventure Guild. They hire themselves a healer. On their way back, they stop at the tavern one more time and ask about a possible guide. So enter guide. We have a blue dragonborn barbarian guide who knows the island very well. He's been there. So they're met with this guide. They start heading on their way to Oakhaven. On the road to Oakhaven, about a day in, they rode good. Didn't have to get in an encounter on the first one, but this one had to happen. So as they're turning the corner in the road, they are met with a carriage that has been toppled over with 2 merchants and a guard, and they're being attacked by what seems like wolves. As the party approaches the carriage, they notice that these wolves are all deformed, have blight fungus growing on them, all drooling, gnarly, they have elongated limbs, they're looking pretty rough. And they are absolutely focused on this caravan and these merchants. So they approach, party handles the wolves with relative ease. They end up saving the merchants. The guard was this close to dying, but he lived, so all good in the end. The merchants end up letting them know that they just left Oakhaven, and the people there were acting very weird. They were pretty much sleepwalking, just going about their day, just doing the paces, but very blank expressions, nothing was up there. They were just moving like robots. And they also let them know that they found this shard that was right outside the village gate that just felt wrong. So one of the merchants picked up this shard and ended up selling it to somebody else that was in the village as they were in there, who was curious. So with this information, they start heading to Oak Haven. As they get to Oak Haven, they get closer, they notice that the forest is just starting to fall apart and rot as they're getting closer and closer to this town. And they're starting to hear a ringing and humming in their ears that is just intense and just cannot be tolerable almost. So as they enter this town, this humming is getting ridiculous. So they hurry up and they find a tavern, try to get some answers, see what's going on. As they enter the tavern, the hum kind of dims a little bit, so they realize that the hum is coming from outside, outside the tavern itself or outside the buildings. So as they're in the tavern, they try to talk to the guys in there, and they get yes, no answers. Everybody's in a daze. They can't tell what's going on. So they find the next building that looks kind of important, which happened to be the elder's house, and there's two elves sitting on chairs, just gone. And then the druid who actually hired them for the quest is sitting in front of them begging them for their help because something is affecting the Silent Glade, and whatever is affecting the Silent Glade has ran over into Oak Haven. And as he's sitting there trying to tell them what's going on, all of a sudden he goes completely blank. So now the party can't even get answers out of him. So they're just trying to figure out what's going on. They start heading towards this noise. As they get closer to the center of town, which is a pretty massive well in the center of town, it's got about 4 things that go down and dip into water and stuff like that. As they're approaching this thing, they notice fungus and all types of gnarly stuff is growing out of this well. And the only clean spot on this well is where this ladder goes in and out of this well. So the party decides to go down. As they go down, they look out, and all they see is a room just covered in purple, pulsating, nasty, green, pussy fungus, all types of mushrooms and stuff like that. Just nasty. And in the middle of this room is a big heart, just pulsating. And as it pulsates, you can see the energy, just the corruption flowing through the walls of this place. And there's 4 goblins worshiping this heart, and that's where we left off on the first session. So it was pretty fun. Thank you everybody for stopping in and showing love on all the pictures and stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed this first go around, and if you guys like this, please comment for an update too. Appreciate y'all.